everybody, it's Jeff Coates from Sato Chicken, and this time I'm going to be answering a question I got on Instagram. It was from Johnny Canvas, and he was asking me about how I draw hands. So hands are hard to draw for me. They always have been. When I was a kid, they were like the first thing that I ran up against that I just couldn't do. I think that's true for a lot of people. So I'm just going to show you some of the things that I do now and some of the tricks that I have. And hopefully those help you find your own style with it.
So right off the bat, I think the first thing that's helpful for me in with drawing hands is just to remember that they have volume, and they're basically, I think of them as just basic rectangles. So what I'm drawing here is just sort of a basic cubey breakdown of a hand with dimension to it. And then I'll walk through how you can take those cubey dimensions, and basically that's what I think of when I'm drawing these fat little sausage fingers here. So those are basically the same thing. And that sense of dimension is really helpful. Like when I go and draw something new that I'm not really sure of, the first thing I do is go back to, basic cube shapes like this. And if I think in those cubes, and then I can pretty much figure out how the fingers sort of fit in with the hands. So, and how to lay them out, even in something that's a little bit more complicated. This basically looks like a box of French fries, but you'll see what it is eventually. And so if I can think of that I don't even necessarily have to draw that all the time, but if I can just think about that, then when I go to do this, it makes a little bit more sense. And it's super abstract, right? Like that does not look like that, but that's what's in my head when I'm drawing it. And that just comes from drawing it over and over again. And by the way, I know that's not super awesome. There are other people with way better skills at that, but that's what I do. This actually brings up something else. The shape of the hand. So you can see on what I'm doing anyway is on that side of the hand, I just go for the straight line now. I don't try and round it off. And I just draw that line straight into the arm. Do that a lot these days. That's new for me. You can tell too, my fingers, I'm drawing really pointy fingers, and that's new too. A while ago I was drawing really blocky, cubey fingers, and that's just part of, I think, just getting more comfortable and evolving. So there is I don't know. Once you draw all the fingers, you can start seeing where some of the fingers may be too long, right? So that feels better. So let's draw something else. Can you guys hear my dog chewing a bone in the background? She's really loving it. Just like a crack addict. You can practice other things like having hands hold things. When I do that, I always just draw the hand first and then try and draw the shape into it. Sometimes I'll do it the other way around. I'll draw the thing that's being held and then figure out the hand holding it, but usually it's like this. Clubs, whatnot. It's kind of aggressive. Draw another hand holding something else. This is another thing I've been doing a little bit more of lately, is drawing the fingers from beneath. You can see how those fingers are wrapping around from underneath. I used to do it the other way, and you'll see that coming up. So again, thinking about those basic dimensions, when drawing a hand holding something. What else can we do? No, I don't like that. So this is an instance where I'm going to draw the thing that's being held before I draw the hand holding it, because it helps. It's way more helpful this way. So I'll just make a new layer and draw the hand over top of the shape. And this is a hand shape that is very common these days. I've actually drawn this a lot lately. Somebody holding a smartphone. Always draw the motion lines around the thumb so everyone knows you're tapping. And there's the fingers wrapping around from the top. That's the way I usually do it or have done it. Okay, so drawing fingers. Again, that's something that's changed for me from time to time. This is pretty standard for me. This big hanging sausagey fingers that don't really look like fingers. I find adding details, I always rely on adding like knuckles and fingernails to kind of make a hand look like a hand. I'm not super comfortable not adding those. Most people don't. Some people don't. But those details for me help make the hand look more appealing. So if you just have the basic lines for the fingers and the hand, it's not quite the same as that. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll just do one big line for adding fingernails. So now I want to talk about the contentious debate over drawing 3 fingers or 4 fingers. Now, I have always drawn hands with 3 fingers, and some people ask me about it and think it looks weird. I just picked it up from animation, like looking at old Warner Brothers cartoons. And the reason most old cartoon characters have 3 fingers is because it was less to draw. At least that's what I heard. So that's what I do. I tend to draw hands with only 3 fingers, and the only time I ever really draw hands with 4 fingers is when I'm drawing gestures. So for instance, if I'm going to draw somebody throwing up the horns, can't really do that with 3 fingers. So those guys always get 4. And they always get a studded bracelet. Another thing I might draw that requires 4 fingers is, of course, whoops. Yeah, let me just move this down. Yeah. Gotta have 4 fingers, or the suggestion of 4 fingers with the knuckles there. And of course, a studded bracelet. Always. So that's when I would use 4. Most of the time, though, it's 3. So again, going back to finger shape, like I say, I've done different styles as my style has kind of changed. Sausage fingers, those are what I've usually done and kind of what I do now. But lately I've been doing this one more. It's kind of a weird looking one, sort of a rabbit ear kind of a shape. And for a while I went through a phase of drawing fingers that way, really blunt, stubby. Yeah, stubby. What else? Never really drew these ones, but it's kind of fun looking. Not much call for witchy fingers. So then there's just posing. So a relaxed pose on a hand. 99 times out of 100 I'm going to draw a hand just by the side of somebody, kind of side profile, and it'll look like that. Kind of looks like an ostrich foot. That's my dog drinking water. Don't mind that. She's really going to town on the water. And then from the front, it might look like this. Funnily enough, this took me a long time to get to. So again, you're looking at this and seeing where that thumb feels really big. There, that's better. Yeah, so that's generally a relaxed pose for hands. I draw those a lot. And then there's my favorite kind of hands to draw. Zombie hands. And I draw these a lot. I don't know if you've looked at my Instagram feed, but there's a lot of these. Kind of that reachy, grabby sort of a look. That's the one. That's the left hand. Someone's pointing to the right. There's your right hand. This actually took me a while to sort of figure out, but I'm pretty happy with them now. Feel free to copy. Of course, all zombies have to have a ripped shirt. And the most important thing when you're drawing a zombie hand is, of course, blood. Always got to have a bit of blood. So yeah, that's all I know about hands. Hope that helps.
So that's it. Hope you liked it. Hope it helped. If you want to see more of my work, you can go to my Instagram account, which is right down there. Or you can go to my website, SatoChicken.com, which is right up there. And yeah.